Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself before we start?
Oh, yeah. My name is Thunda. I am a Wuthering Waves theory crafter and YouTuber. I primarily make meta-analysis videos and also start discussion topics surrounding Wuthering Waves' meta. And I also make game design-related videos.
And I'm Rhinne. I'm a gotcha tourist. So this list will be based on Tower of Adversity and Whimpering Waste combined value for an account based on both of those. You want to include signatures, right? Let's do signatures for the characters.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you are someone who doesn't pull for signatures, then you can just look up what the
Get your
signature
life
value
together.
is and you can get whatever data you want out of that, right? You can determine whether or not a character has value for you to pull
Well,
for.
I feel like doing it on release order is funny because then you're forcing your viewers to watch more to get some actually relevant characters. True.
You just want to do all the bottom tiers first? Okay, I see you, bro. All
Oh,
right,
let's
let's do
go.
Jiyan then. Let's do
Awesome.
Jiyan first. I'm going with the right off the bat. I'm going with Jiyan in C tier. He's like okay in both Tower and Wiwa. He does get wheelchaired by Iuno and Ciaccona. Without Iuno and Ciaccona, he starts like performing pretty poorly, especially compared to like more recent units. I just can't really like justify pulling him too much. He's not terrible. He'll obviously work if you want to make him work. He's a 1.0 unit for a reason. You're gonna probably want signature if you get him. There are other like newer DPSs you don't even need signature that can outperform him too. So I just can't put him too high in terms of value. I know a lot of people like to glaze him. I'm not one of those people. I think C tier is good for him.
Yeah, fair. I agree. Because, like, okay, the thing is, while he technically did get buffed by Iuno and Ciaccona, it's like, if you have a Iuno and a Ciaccona, then realistically, you'd sooner play main DPS Iuno. I mean, sure, it's worse in Whimpering Waste because Iuno has less good AoE, right? But
Right.
let's be so entirely real here. I don't think the difference is big enough for you. Like, I don't think you should pull GN just for one game mode
Mm-hmm.
when he's not even that spectacular in that game mode.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like he'll get the job done. Like
Mhm.
he'll still clear the content, but he's not by any means worth pulling if you don't like him. That's the thing. He is
Mhm.
one of those characters you pull if you like.
I think the other thing is too is those characters that are going to be using GN. All of them have better teams than GN. So like GN wants those characters, but those characters don't want GN. So he's essentially like dragging down the value of those other characters if you're using them to pair with the GN, which feels really bad if you're using them. But if you like GN, he does still get the clears. Don't get us wrong. Like he's definitely still clearing content. You can definitely clear very easily using him. You can clear using the entirety of the cast. Actually, you can even clear using Xiangli Yao, your favorite character.
Oh my god, don't start with him, bro. I'm thinking we need to create some fanfare when we get to when we get to his dumbass.
All right, dude. I feel like you're gonna slander Sheng Liao so hard when we get. I mean, we'll get to him soon. All right, hold on. All right, let's. Speaking of Sheng Liao,
Yeah.
let's talk about one of his paired characters, Yinlin. You want to take over Yinlin first?
Okay, first, I find it very ironic you said paired characters because I'm going to go straight ahead and say this is genuinely, is it justifiable to say our first F tier? Is it justifiable?
Yeah, I think it's more than justifiable.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
hard. It's hard to find like a character
Yeah,
worse
sure.
pulling than Yinlin, right?
Yeah, Yinlin quite literally has 0 teams where she's the best in slots, and all the teams where she is competitive, they're like, brother, why would you pull Yinlin just for her to be a second best in slot for a team, right? Like
Hmm.
that just doesn't make any sense. So you're pulling a character and she's working absolutely nowhere, and the best she's gonna do you is be an alternative.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, it's just like the one team that she's actually like justifiable in, like literally she was just replaced, like literally like a couple days ago by Lynae. She just doesn't have reasons to exist.
I agree completely. Yeah, it feels bad because like it's kind of the similar situation where like the characters that she wants to pair with don't want to pair with her, so there's no reason using her there. I mean, it's 1.0 syndrome, right? Like it's a 1.0 character. I don't know what you expect. She's literally a character where her weapon is more valuable than she is. That feels really bad to say.
Bro, I've said it like since her release. The best thing Yinlin has done, actually not since her release, because on release she was still good. But I've said it for over a year now. The best thing Yinlin did for the meta was introduce us to String Master.
True. Wait, who came after Enlin? Who's the next one if we're going release order?
Bro, Jinhsi.
Wait, is Jinhsi before Changli?
Yes. Bro, she got a whole ass main quest for herself, dog.
Dude, I forgot about that. Well, I didn't forget about the quest. I remember the quest. I've done it like 50 times because I have like 8 accounts, but like I meant like I forgot which one of them came first. All right, anyway, besides the point. Ooh, where do I want to put Jinshi? Dude, C or D? Where would you put Jinshi? I actually don't know if I'd put her C or D. I feel like
I'd
D.
Loki put her in D tier. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd Loki put her in D tier because like in Tower at this point in both modes she's losing to GN. Funny, she aged worse than her general. But I mean, at this point she's just losing to GN in both modes because sure, GN's getting wheelchaired, but like at least he has that option open to him, which is not something Jinhsi can say.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Cause like there's literally she's made for one mode, but we have so many characters that work in multiple modes as well. Like even like Jiyan who came before her, who we'd consider mid. But then you look at like recent teams that came out, like Mono Fusion works in multiple modes. Even like the Air Erosion team works in multiple modes. Phrolova's team works in multiple modes. Augusta's team works in multiple modes. Like all these like recent teams work in both tower and Wuwa. Jinhsi in Wuwa is pretty mid. Even in tower, she's not the best. So in terms of pull value, if we're going for like both of them as well, with her DPS especially being like one of the lower teams too, I just can't justify pulling for her.
Yeah. Okay. My thoughts on Changli are complicated, so I'll let you spearhead this one.
All right. My thoughts on Changli are pretty complicated too, because it's like the team she goes in, every single one of those teams has other options, right? I'm either gonna put her in B or A tier. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna talk about this a little bit. We can like decide together. But it's like Changli
Mhm.
goes into teams with like Mono Fusion, for example, where she could be easily replaced by other options, right? And then her teams outside of those options are like the lesser teams. On top of that, one of the problems I have with Mono Fusion that doesn't get brought up too often is that every single one of the characters needs to be well invested in. Compared to like hyper carry teams where you only really need your DPS character to have good stats, that means you're using more tubes and more tuners, which means that realistically, your DPS output on most accounts is going to be lower, or your total account value is going to be lower because you're investing in the Changli. Don't get me wrong, I use Changli all the time. I play Mono Fusion all the time. It's top 3 teams for me to play in terms of enjoyability, and Mono Fusion itself is very strong in both tower and Wuwa, and actually double pond as well, even though we're not talking about that. But she does go in good team comps though, but I feel like she's not the one doing the job in those team comps. She's just like happens to be there. She could be taken out at any point.
Okay, so I think I'll agree on B tier. I'm gonna say something that might be a little whack to some people. I think Changli was the original Lynae. Like the one
Mhm.
size fits all works in all teams. It was just like instead of playing it as a traditional hyper carry, you'd play it as quick swap, which required more skill. So
Mhm.
ultimately, it's not the exact same as Lynae, but it's like it's still serving a similar purpose where you could just throw her into a team like some sort of cockroach and you can make it work.
Mhm.
My issue with her Mono Fusion. Okay, first of all, her quick swap teams, modern DPSs just aren't made to quick swap, and
Right.
even if they are, at this point, their personal damage is high enough to where you would rather just play them as a hyper carry rather than inserting a Changli in there.
Mhm.
So that's not doing very good for her value. And in Mono Fusion, at this point, it is also just better to use Galbrena
Mhm.
because, with her, it is more damage. I do think that Double Pawn increased value of her a little bit more because you'd prefer to use your Galbrena in a different team and then you can let Changli be used by Mono Fusion. But
Right.
again, we're not talking about Double Bottom Pawn in this video.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I
I
agree
do
with
think
that.
B tier is fair.
Yeah, I think I find it interesting you mentioned like Lynae as her as like being like a generalist character. I view Changli very similarly as well, and Xiangli Yao to an extent too, where it was like you would have the characters be able to be used as like quick swap DPSs for like multiple comps, but the problem was back then you didn't really need that because you only had Tower and Wuwa as your modes, and Wuwa only needs 2 teams, and Tower at the time only needed 3, right? Now it needs 4, so now there's a little bit
Mhm.
more of justification for it. Also, the when you're
For
going,
quote unquote, let's just
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
for quote unquote, like you can use one team on the side towers 2 and 3, and those are like literal jokes. So it's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lamau.
Yeah, mainly playing, like, around resistances and whatnot would be the main reason for it, but yeah, I agree. I do like the comparison with Lynae. I've had similar thoughts with that. I like you bringing that up, actually. I don't have too many other thoughts, though. I think we agree largely about why Changli
Yeah.
belongs in B. Who was after
hmm
Changli? Was it Xiangli Yao?
It was Zhezhi.
I might get killed for saying this. I feel like Zhezhi is like D tier. Do you agree with that? Like, here's how I'm
Okay,
thinking about it. Like,
so
what would I ever pull Zhezhi for over Lynae when Lynae could just go in all those teams and then way more teams and then just be better? And then she's also going to get shielded in the future, and she also synergizes with Toon Break, which means she's going to get expanded upon more. I don't see what Zhezhi is doing when all of her teams that she actually
um,
performs for are not even near like the actual top teams now, right? Like the top teams now are like it's gonna be
I
like
mean,
the mono element teams or like Augusta and whatnot, right?
okay, I think it's unfair to say that about Zhezhi because then you're taking away the entire context of endgame modes because you only get one Lynae,
Right?
right? So ultimately, if you're using Lynae with someone like Galbrena, then your Carlotta is still going to need your Zhezhi. So
Hmm.
I think it's unfair to say about Zhezhi, like, why would you ever pull her when Lynae exists? Because, I mean, it's kind of like you said, Lynae works in a ton of teams. So
Hmm.
trying to find some sort of way to free her up would be valuable. I don't see her going anywhere above the bottom of C though, because I mean everything you said is true. But I do think it's unfair to take away the context of how the end game works in wuwa.
I want to revisit Zhezhi after we're done with this list because I feel like I want to put her in D tier after thinking about it. Like, would I rather have a Zhezhi on my account or Jiyan? I almost feel like Jiyan would be the answer because right now I feel like in the state of the game, I would want people to pull for the higher tier, like sub DPS characters, right? I would want people to pull for like Iuno. I'd want people to
Mhm.
pull for like dude, even like I'd almost value like a Cantarella higher than her too. I'd want people to pull for like a Qiuyuan. I'd want people to pull for those if we're going for sub DPS characters. I would never in a
I
million
mean,
years recommend Zhezhi right now.
here's the thing though about that. The thing is, like, Carlotta is still a good character in Tower, right?
Right?
So having a synergy with her, even if Lynae can do the same thing, it's still worth something.
Okay.
And another thing is, sure, I agree that getting a GN is better for your account, but in the same tier, there's always going to be variance of how good a character is. Like, that's just something natural to tier lists. You're never gonna have a whole tier of characters that are the exact same in value. That's just never gonna happen. So having some variance in power within the same tier is completely fine if you ask me.
Yeah, I think so too. Because like I'm
Like,
looking at
I'm
like
not saying she's a
Jinhsi,
good.
like you're gonna get a Zhezhi over a Jinhsi all day, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like meanwhile with Zhezhi and Jiyan, there's at least some argument to be had. Because Zhezhi's use case is a niche one, aka your Lynae is in use and you want a Carlotta teammate, and
Mhm.
your Jiyan use case is very niche, being you already have Iuno and Ciaccona and you need a better wuwa team. So they both have pretty niche pull cases, so I think putting them in the same tier is pretty fine.
All right. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So then after this, oh, that's your goat now. You want to go for this one? I know
Oh
you love him.
dear. I'm thinking C or D. I'm leaning towards C because okay, one thing you said during the Changli section, right? Being that Xiangli Yao can be used as a sort of as like a sort of like a quick swap just to fit in any team.
Hmm.
He just doesn't do that as seamlessly as Changli. He's just straight up worse at it.
Hmm.
So I don't want to give him that credit because he's just a mediocre version of someone else. Because unlike Changli, he has a timer to his damage. It's a long ass timer, sure, but there's still a timer. He has a
Hmm.
limit to his damage, being up to 3 hypercubes, and his quick swap windows are less forgiving than Changli's, in my opinion. So
Hmm.
overall, he just does the job worse. And he also doesn't have as solid of a team as Monofusion as Changli does. Because his hypercarry team is just worse than Changli Monofusion. Like, I clowned on Changli Monofusion for being worse than the Galbrena variant, but Xiangli Yao doesn't have it any better on his own.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I thought you were gonna slander him more. I actually agree with C tier. I was gonna fight on you a little bit going into this. I actually think he belongs in C tier now.
No, okay, that's the thing people forget, right? Like, that's the thing people forget about me. I have my, like, I'm very passionate when I say things, but I'm still reasonable about it. Like, if you put me in the context of the entire game, my takes are gonna make a lot more sense than if you look at one of my opinions in a vacuum. That's the thing.
Okay, bro. I see you. I see you, bro.
My, like,
What
my
do you
opinions in
dislike
a
so much
vacuum
about Changli
sound
Yao then?
insane. His fucking glazers! Like, people still think he's some kind of menace that you need to look out for. Like, bro, when Lynae was revealed on the live stream, and I talked about her in my Should You Pull video, I had people in my comment section be like, see, Xiangli Yao got a new teammate. He's gonna go back to the top tier. Like, bro, shut up. No one likes you. You're never invited to anyone's birthday party.
I agree with C tier for Changli Yao, bro. Yeah, he has the same versatility, or he has like a similar versatility situation to Changli, but it's just like a worse version of that. His top teams
It's worse.
aren't performing
Yeah, like, it's
as
just
well
worse.
as Changli's though. So like even if he is versatile, he's just not getting those numbers. But with Lynae, he actually gets up to like near Camellya numbers. So I mean, that's like something, I
The
guess, right?
bar, bro. Okay, unironically, the fucking bro. Okay, I don't think you understand. According to my okay, like I want to update all my calcs to include Toon Break, right? But based on the current versions of my calcs, Xiangli Yao and Camellya have the lowest damage output out of any limited 5-star DPS.
Yeah, that's why I said
Like, bro, they're losing to Encore out here. Like, bro, they're losing to Encore, dog.
Dude, I was saying that earlier too. Like, people like disrespect Encore. Encore's a legit good unit with Lupa, bro. Like, she's actually good.
Yeah, bro. I think a lot of the Lupa teams, what were Loki? If we get like a universal fusion character, like Lupa stocks are gonna go up even higher. It's crazy.
True,
People
exactly.
don't understand the menace called Lupa. They don't understand that she's a fucking menace to this game, bro.
Oh, speaking about Lupa, actually, I changed my opinion on or what I said yesterday on her, but we'll get to that when we get to her. What was next? 1.3?
Yes, that's Shorekeeper. God, I'm such a nerd for remembering all this.
All
It's
right.
fine. I'm a theory crafter. Like grass is green.
Do I need to say anything? Shorekeeper
Anyway,
S tier? Do we need to talk about this
yeah,
or?
put the S tier in the bag, bro. Put the fries in the bag.
Yeah, there's not much to say. Most versatile character in the game. Well, all right, Lynae's pretty similar to her in versatility actually now, but actually, I guess neither of them can like really
I mean,
interact with
okay,
negative status that well. But outside of that, like,
yeah. I mean, I'd say like they're both like I'd say they're comparable in versatility, but I still prefer Shorekeeper because there's not really many alternatives to Shorekeeper within
yeah.
teams. Whereas with Lynae, most of the DPSs she works with, there is at least one character that is able to compete.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, Shorekeeper's just like the best generalist character. Definitely an S tier still. Actually, kind of crazy how well she
Bro,
aged.
she's the goat.
I'm wondering if because we're obviously gonna get a new healer in like 3.0 or whatever, or 3 point like X or whatever, right? Sometime in Lahai Roi. I'm wondering
Bro,
how that's gonna affect it.
that's what they said about 2.x, bro. That's what they said about 2.x.
I guess that's true. Well, we got Chisa, but that didn't end up working.
Bro, okay. Dog, I made a whole video on this. Don't start this argument.
So next up is let's see, Camellya, right? Because that'd be 1.4.
Camellya,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Dude, I was thinking between B or C tier for her. I was trying to think because like I actually agree. She's like one of the worst limited DPS units right now, which is crazy to say because I remember for so long she was glazed for being like one of the top units in both tower and Weewa, and she can still clear both. Like I'm still getting clears in both there. I was able to clear even the new mode using like Sanhua Verena with her, right? Like you can use the free to play variants. Plus on top of that, she did technically get
Bro,
better with Lynae, but like she's still like I almost want to put her in C tier.
who didn't? Like, bro, who didn't?
Yeah.
Like,
True.
I think C tier is fair because unironically, when you compare her to Jiyan, she's performing worse in tower. I know wheelchair, but like,
Hmm.
not the point. She
Right.
is performing worse than Jiyan, even though she got Lynae as a theoretical upgrade. And then in Weewa, she also like she lost a lot of the relevance she had when Weewa first came out. Because
Right.
now DPSs they're made with Weewa in mind. So Camellya lost a lot of the props that she had. Honestly, I stopped glazing Camellya like all the way back when Phoebe released because at that point we just had multiple DPS. Like we had 3 DPS at that point that outdamaged her, being Phoebe, Carlotta, and Jinhsi in tower.
Hmm.
And then of course she got Weewa, which shut me up like literally instantly. But I stopped glazing that character like a long time ago, bro.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's sad to say
I
because
think
I'm
C
a
tier is
Camellya
fair.
main too. And it feels really bad to put her this low, especially when she used to be like the queen of versatility. But it's weird seeing Changli
Bro,
above her
don't
too.
worry. Okay, bro, don't worry. I'm also gonna have to dunk on my goat at some point. I'm not gonna agenda max.
Wait, which one's your goat, Phoebe?
Yeah, Phoebe's the one that I'd have to like be mean to. I don't think I don't have to be mean to Galbrena, but we'll get there when we get there.
All right, speaking of being mean, ooh, actually, you know what? I'm curious your thoughts on this because I feel like I have a spicy take with Carlotta. What's your thought?
I think at this point, Carlotta's a B tier character personally, like when it comes to pull value, because at this point, like she lost the dominance on tower that she had on her release, right?
Hmm.
And while she still like she has some other teammate options, like she can run Taucha, she can run Yang Yang, she can run Brant, but at the end of the day, none of them are really gonna give you that top tier performance you're looking for when you're trying to get a Carlotta. So at this point, there's just too many characters that outdo her, even on lower cost teams in tower. And
Hmm.
then in Whimpering Waves, she's just kind of mediocre because of, she moves around a lot, but she also requires positioning. So it's
Right.
really hard for you to position yourself in Weewa when her skill, like, literally moves her halfway across the map anyway. So overall, in Weewa, it's just not her mode, just not made for her. And then in tower, she lost a lot of her dominance. And
Hmm.
then, in her alternative team, she's not as strong anymore compared to other characters. So at this point, I just think most people shouldn't be pulling for Carlotta, unless, of course, just like Jiyan, they just like the character.
Yeah, I was almost debating putting her in C tier actually. I'm not sure between B and C. Probably B tier, but I think she's like bottom of B if I think about it. Because yeah, once again, like the non-versatility in Whimpering Waves. Yeah, you mentioned like the bullets. You literally because it goes in a straight line, right? So you have to line up yourself properly with the mobs. But that's kind of hard to do, especially when all the mobs are like backtracking and stuff like that. C for rage bait.
Yeah, and also, And okay, low-key real okay. I will say, like, when you compare to Jiyan, who is I think Jiyan's gonna be a lot like the benchmark for a while, but when you compare to Jiyan, she is getting worse performance in Wiwa, but that's also partially because Jiyan is getting like giga wheelchaired, so I don't
Mhm.
want to give him too many props for something he isn't doing.
True.
So yeah, I do think B tier is fair, like low B tier. I mean, that's just kind of the issue when you're rating DPS characters. Like when you're rating the value of a DPS, you're just gonna look at how strong their damage is, and that they're just gonna glaze the newer characters because they naturally have higher damage. I think that's the main issue with trying to rank a DPS.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, because like it's so weird to see like Carlotta being beats her though, especially when like so many people like
Yeah.
glaze her too. Like there's so many like Carlotta S tier. Like I remember on the last tier list we made, there's so many people that were like saying Carlotta's not S tier. This tier list is trash.
Okay, so speaking of Roccia, instant F tier, low key, like this character, literally same situation as Yinlin. She has no teams. She has
Yeah,
0 teams.
it's so sad too, because like they had an opportunity to buff her with Phrolova, right? And then they immediately kicked her out of the team. They just said, no Roccia there. Just use Qiuyuan instead. Or just
Oh,
use
bro,
Shorekeeper instead. Like what are we
bro,
doing?
bro, you want to know what's even funnier about that?
What?
At this point, you can't even say Roccia's second best in slot anymore. You can't say that anymore because I actually did the calculation for this literally today. And because I was comparing Cantarella versus Qiuyuan for a Phrolova, like who is more valuable.
Right?
So I compared Lynae Qiuyuan against Cantarella Roccia, and Lynae Qiuyuan's unironically better.
Wait, that's messed up,
So
bro.
yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna have words to speak on Cantarella when we get to her.
Nah, dude. Dude, I feel bad for Roccia mains too, because it's like they had opportunities to buff her, right? Like they could have made Camellya could have been stronger with Roccia, right? Or like Phrolova is another character too, where like that's a Havoc character that was an opportunity to buff her, but then they didn't do that. Then they could use 3.0. I mean, I guess they can't use Lynae to buff her. Maybe they could add like a future 3.x DPS that scales off a basic attack. Like we did get a basic attack gauntlet. Maybe that's a
Bro,
thing. But like,
sorry to burst your bubble here, but you do know Sanhua exists, right? And at this point, Roccia's damage output is not worth the extra rotation time over Sanhua.
yeah, I know, but they could
Like,
add
I'm
like
just, I'm just
some
gonna burst your bubble right there.
they can always add like some random like BS in their kit, right? They could say like if you have like X amount of Havoc characters in your team or whatever, you do more damage, right? Like they could find a way to make it
Bro, this
relevant.
is not Star Rail, bro. This is not Star
Wait,
Rail.
dude, don't they literally
Fucking
have that? Don't
Chrysler's
they literally have that
Airheads.
in Lupa's kit, by the way?
Well, yeah, but Brant actually does damage.
I feel bad for the Roccia
That-
mains, bro. This character being F tier is so sad, bro. Wait, bro, look at this tier list right now. We're doing this in terms of like release date, right? Do you notice something about this
Yeah.
list? A little bit bottom heavy. I see a few of the top spots not filled
Well,
out.
bro, welcome to gotcha games, bro. Like that's just how it is. The sooner people realize that, the better.
True. Who came out after Roccia? Was it Phoebe?
Like, yeah, it was Phoebe.
All right, banger.
Which means it's time I have to start slandering my goat. It's so unfortunate.
I want you to slander.
I'm
Go.
gonna say, okay, I need you to tell me if I'm agending too close to the sun here.
All right.
But I think that she's a B below Carlotta because here's the thing, right? I think Phoebe's main value is just how many things you can do with this damn character because it really doesn't matter what your account looks like. You'll always be able to do something with the Phoebe.
Mm-hmm.
Like to this day, Sanhua Spectre over Phoebe is still going to be clearing all of tower. So
Right.
I think that's something that is worth noting. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to get her because you want a DPS Phoebe, I mean, she's just not a top tier, and she did actually get one of the most significant buffs out of the bunch with Lynae, because she didn't really have teammates before this as a DPS, and now Lynae's just so cracked, she actually has a teammate. So she got a pretty significant bump from that. I'm pretty sure in my calculations, she's outdoing Zani now, which is hilarious. But honestly, if you're looking for a DPS, she's not one of the top tiers. So I think B tier is pretty fair. Like, I don't even want to consider Zani anymore because, like I said, Lynae Phoebe is Loki just outdoing Zani Phoebe.
You're assuming no quick swap, obviously, right?
Yeah, obviously. I never
Yeah.
assume quick swap in my calcs.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering between B or C for Phoebe as well, because I was running into that problem too. I was trying to think, like, outside of pairing with my Zani, what do I really want to do with the Phoebe? I can pair it with the Rover and use Rover, but, like, Rover is also pretty valuable as a character, right? You can use, like, Arrow Rover too. That's obviously a strong character. You can put that somewhere. You can obviously use, even Havoc Rover is, like, a strong character. Did you see the Havoc Rover that got 9k points in doubled pawn?
I don't look on the internet, bro.
All right, dude. Havoc Rover is, like, a legit
many
strong
idiots on there.
character. All right, to be fair for that, clear, they had R5 EOG, which is like super unrealistic and giga overpowered for for Havoc Rover specifically, especially because he needs the ER. But like Rover's a pretty valuable character. Obviously, Phoebe's very wanting that Rover, and if you go for things like Ciaccona and whatnot, or that instead, like Ciaccona just has better teammates, right? So she is pretty versatile in who she can pair with. Weirdly, despite being a Spectrophrasal character, but she doesn't like she doesn't get like near the ceiling of like the
Yeah.
good characters. Yeah, I think bottom of B is probably good
Yeah,
for her.
exactly.
Um,
Okay, so I'm not agending to see. That's always something that I'm concerned about when it's my favorite characters, because Okay, here's the thing. I was talking about a bit about it yesterday, but the main job of a TC is to make literally anything work. And because
right.
Phoebe's my favorite, I obviously like actually she's not my favorite character anymore. She's my second favorite now. But obviously I think about her a lot because she's one of my favorites. So obviously I think about like the ways to optimize Phoebe more than other characters. So I
Right.
want to make sure I'm not agending too close to the sun with her.
I think
But I am still very much correct with Lynae significantly buffing her
I think a
as a
lot of
DPS
people
support.
don't like use Phoebe as like a main DPS, so they don't see like all the different like ways she's actually versatile, right? Like they don't see her like pairing with like some
Yeah,
stupid
stupid stuff like Mortefi or Sanhua or Iuno or Lynae, right? Like you can literally pair with like
yeah,
half the roster and she can work. You can do some stupid quick swap shenanigans,
yeah.
like
Like I was actually playing her in WeWa today with on someone else's account because I have an S6 obviously.
right?
I was playing Lynae Ciaccona, and look, like the Ciaccona was built for a Cartethyia team. Like it was like the air erosion set with her signature and shit. So
Mhm.
she wasn't even built right. And I also kind of fucked up gameplay wise because I wasn't focusing, and I still got 3K. So like she's getting the results. It's just that if you're looking for a DPS, she's not the one you turn to. It's kind of like a similar issue to Carlotta. Actually, now that I think about it, outside of tower, I feel she might perform better on average, but I might be agendering there. Yeah, like I feel like in WeWa she has better performance than Carlotta.
Doesn't she just perform better by default because she can pair with Zani?
Yeah. I mean that's true. Honestly, I'm willing to put Phoebe above Carlotta now that I think about it. I was trying not to agenda in my initial rating, so I think putting her above Carlotta is fair, actually.
I'm fine with putting her above Carlotta as well. I think they're both bottom of B
I do
though,
want
to
to
be clear.
yeah, I do want to say something. Like I saw someone in chat being like, I thought Lynae was bad with negative status. It's not that Lynae is bad with negative status itself. It's that Lynae is bad with the negative status, like the characters who actually interact with negative status,
Mhm.
because they want someone to apply it for them. And with Zani, she just really needs that Phoebe, so it's really hard to slot a Lynae in there. And with Cartethyia, it's even harder because she can't even benefit from the attack buff that Lynae's set gives. So
Mhm.
that's why you don't want to use like it's specifically a Zani and Cardothea thing, not a negative status thing.
Yeah. Dude, all right, I was thinking about Brant as well. I was having a hard time thinking about if I wanted to put Brant in A or B tier. Because I was thinking like I would so I mentioned yesterday, I changed my mind from what I thought about earlier, right? I think I would rather value Lupa spoilers on
Mhm.
my account than I would like a Brant. But like I would rather have a Brant on my account than I would a Changli, right? Especially since we're considering signatures. But would I
Mhm.
put Brant and Lupa in the same tier? Like would I put them both in A tier? That seems kind of weird. But I would never have Brant in the same tier as Carlotta. Like that's
I mean,
delusional. So I almost feel like it
I
has to
mean,
be A.
it's yeah. I mean, I was gonna say A2. I mean, it's like I said with Zhezhi. It's fine for two characters to be in the same tier, but one of them is obviously better. Like that's just what's gonna happen on a tier list. Like realistically, right? So I do think putting Brant in A tier is fine because he has a lot of good qualities to him, right? Like he's a sub DPS with a strong main DPS team, and not only does he have a strong DPS team, he also just has a lot of characters he can work with. Like he works well with Encore. He is like the partner in crime for Lupa in monofusion teams.
Mhm.
Works well with Galbrena, works well with Changli, works well with Carlotta, works well with Jinhsi. Like, he has a lot of teams. I think his one weakness as a sub DPS is that in most of his teams, he is pretty replaceable. Like,
Mhm.
I'd say in mono fusion teams, he is the first one to go because
Over
obviously
Changli?
Galbrena is the well, Changli's already gone, so
Oh,
Galbrena is
okay,
just
okay,
better.
okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, true. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, like Galbrena's your DPS, and Lupa just gives so many buffs, like you can't replace her. So in Mono Fusion, he's the first to go. So he does lose some value there. Like he's not really vital to any of the teams he's played in,
Mhm.
aside from like the Changli team specifically, because she's a skill damage. But I still think Brant has more than enough teams, as well as him being a solid main DPS, to the point where putting him in A is fine. Definitely
Um,
lower end of A though.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because as we're gonna see later, like some of the sub DPS characters they just have like higher peaks, and they're also like even like their more versatile characters end up being at like higher bars than whatever Brand's versatility is gonna be, right? Like he's a versatile character. His
Yeah.
versatility will still get clears. Like he's definitely able to clear. Like you compare with like you mentioned last time Phrolova. I didn't even think about it. That was a good one. Anyone that could pair in there with like Reston and skill damage, he'll be able to get the clear with. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to add.
Honestly, okay, you remember when I said earlier, like, it's gonna be crazy when we get a fusion generalist healer?
Yeah.
Brant's gonna be one of the characters who benefits the most from that because he wants Lupa's outro Like he wants Lupa's outro, so you'd want to go like healer Lupa Brant. So if we get
Right.
like if we ever get like a healer fusion character, then Brant DPS stocks are gonna go up.
Oh yeah, one other thing as well that we'll often forget, especially if you're like a newer player or you're just like learning mechanics and whatnot. Unironically, things like healing and shielding are very useful for those players because they will die often in tower. So that's a nice plus. I don't generally take it too much into
Mhm.
consideration, but if you're someone looking to pull Brant, that's something to keep in mind as
Same.
well. The next one is Cantarella, probably just C tier as well, right? With the other ones over here with like Jesha and stuff like that. I
Yep.
don't know where I'd put her in C tier though. Like maybe even like the would I put her at
Mm,
the top? I don't know.
I
Whatever they have a Cantarella or Jiyan on my
I
account.
don't. I definitely don't think top because I mean I've said it earlier. Even to a Phrolova team, which is like her literal only use case, Qiuyuan has more value, and you can just use Lynae. So realistically, in what situation are you getting Cantarella aside from I want Phrolova's absolute best team?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think there is
Lynae is
one.
also like really. Lynae is also kind of busy, which I said for Zhezhi. But Phrolova is the most versatile DPS in the entire game. She is not struggling for teammates the way Carlotta is.
Yeah, that's almost why I almost feel like putting her in D tier as well. Now that I think about it, actually,
I
because
think
like the versatility, I think she
I
still
think
belongs in
D might
C
be a little
tier.
far.
I think she still belongs in C tier, but like the versatility Lova has, and with that being her only like really good teammate, she needs Lova, but Lova sure as hell does not need her because she's the most versatile DPS in the
Oh,
game. So it's like,
yeah,
what
like
value is
it's
Control adding to
unironically
your account?
yeah, like the difference between Cantarella and Lynae is not a big difference at all. And like you still have characters like Donjin, like Havoc Rover that Phrolova synergized with pretty well. Like she even got Booling recently, which is unironically a pretty good addition to her teams. Like Phrolova, like if you're a Phrolova teammate, it's like you're getting wheelchaired, but there's not even any value behind you being in the team realistically when there's just so many other options. Why would I ever spend like 100 pulls on getting Cantarella if she's only going to be a slight upgrade to one team that doesn't need it?
Dude, I just convinced myself, high key, I just convinced myself that I want Jesha and Contarella in D tier, both with Jinhsi. Is that troll?
I don't think it's troll. I think it's I don't think it's troll at all.
I'm gonna move them there. I feel like
I do
I
think
feel
like
like they both belong
honestly,
in D tier.
I feel like it'd be close to like a C minus tier in my opinion than like the D tier itself. But obviously, if we start adding minus and pluses, it's going to become a little ridiculous. Like I don't think it's the same value. Like they're not the same value as Xiangli Yao or Camellya, but they're also like not as bad as Jinhsi.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're not as bad as Jinhsi. Yeah, never. Yeah, I guess I can't. I can't put them there within the same. Nah, I mean, you said there's yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
I
It
mean
gets
it's.
like a point
I
across.
think we're just
It's
gonna
like
have
bottom
to.
C, top of D.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to like I think we're just gonna have to see what the list looks like at the end and adjust. Oh,
Yeah.
but that's gonna lead to some funny comments, isn't it? People
All right.
people giving their opinions too fast.
I have a really weird take with Zani. I almost feel like Zani has like negative value now. I almost want to put her in C tier as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I fully agree. Like it's literally what I said. Phoebe Lynae is stronger than Zani Phoebe at this point. If you're not quick swapping, it's
Yeah.
really, and I mean like really difficult to ever pull Zani and feel good about it in current day.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Unless you're like a Giga Sweat, Zani just doesn't have as much value. It's only when you get into that sweat territory that Zani starts becoming like a really good character. And then even then, like you have so many other options. If you're a non-sweat, you have like way better performing, easier to play team comps. I just plus like her being chained to Phoebe like that
Bro,
is extremely bad too. So you have that you are mandatorily pulling 2 5 stars. It's nice that she can pair with
yeah.
Rover, but it feels really bad pulling Zani. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, bro, can pair with Rother, like, can't, okay. To be okay, I think it's a little bit, whack to say it's nice she can pair well with Rover and then criticize Phoebe for pairing with Rover. That's a little whack in my opinion.
Well, I think it's nice that Phoebe can pair with Rover as well, but I also think it's like a benefit and a negative actually, because Rover is a versatile
Mhm.
character. The problem with Phoebe is that if you're playing her with, or the problem with Zani is that you mandatorily need Phoebe. A lot of players who are playing with the Rover as well aren't even going to get the value out of it because they're not going to be quick swapping either, right? So they're not going to have. They're probably going to
Yeah,
play with like Shorekeeper or Verena, right? So they don't even get to make max value out of the Rover.
yeah.
So I actually think for most players, the
I
pairing with
mean,
Rover is
low
actually a
key.
negative. Now that I think about it.
I mean, honestly, okay, low key. I'm gonna be honest with you here. I feel like here's the thing. Even if you are a Giga Sweat quick swapper, Cartethia's quick swap team is just better. So it's like even if you're a Giga Sweat's quick swapper, are you really gonna Sweat quick swap for Tower's first 2 floors? Are you really gonna do that? Let's be real. And even then, if you want to do the Giga Sweat quick swap, your rover is realistically going to be with Cartethyia, because who the hell's pulling Chisa?
I think I just don't see a reason to pull Zani right now. I just don't see it. There's
Yeah.
legitimately no
I
reason to get
think
this
D tier,
character.
honestly, low key.
D tier.
I think
Ooh.
D tier, honestly.
Would I put D tier? Oh, dude, you cannot tell me
Like,
Is Zani worse for an account than Cantarella? Hold on.
I just don't think there's a reason for you to ever pull Zani, like, realistically.
I think only because she's chained to another character that I agree with this. I think that's the only reason I agree with, but I'm fine with like putting her in D tier.
Yeah,
It's
that's the
only because she's
biggest reason,
chained.
yeah. It's actually the biggest reason, of course.
Hmm. Wait, let me think for a second. Yeah, I think in terms of pull value, being forced to pull for other characters, chaining your Phoebe into here, making it so you have negative versatility to pair with other characters. On top of that, Zani is like, she's decent in Whimpering Waves, but she has so many issues inside of the game mode as well. I keep her from
Yeah.
like performing stupidly well,
I mean,
just because the mode is so
yeah,
buggy.
like, I mean, you're sacrificing so many things just for a character that's gonna perform, like, not even to top tier standards.
Yeah, if we're not considering quick swap, then yeah, I agree. And I don't think we're considering quick swap with this list, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Who's next on the
Well,
list?
if we consider quick swap, I'd definitely say, like, at least, like, high C, low B would be more justifiable if
Yeah,
we consider quick
I
swap.
put her in B if we had quick swap. What do you think of Ciaccona? I haven't thought fully on Ciaccona. I think probably just A.
Yeah, I'd say Ciaccona is a high A tier character with her signature, like above Brant. Because here's the thing, right? She's best in slot for two of the strongest DPSs in tower, being Iuno and Cartethyia. Because, fun fact, Iuno's new team, it's not Lynae Shorekeeper, it's Lynae Ciaccona. So she's already like pairing really well with two of the best tower DPSs, one of which is being the best tower DPS. And she's kind of also just the thing that makes Cartethyia work in Whimpering Waste. Like, you're not going to stroll into Whimpering Waste with Chisa Arrow over. You can't do that. You have to pull Ciaccona for that. And she's also just good in the Jiyan wheelchair. Like, she's honestly just good for every Arrow character right now. So I think not putting her in A tier would be a little bit criminal, especially when two of the Arrow characters are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, her and the wheelchair her comp for like every arrow character that comes out of the future too is gonna be so funny. I wonder how long that's gonna be a meta. But that's a funny ass one. I didn't even think about when first came out. I don't have too
Yeah,
much to add to that.
like here's the thing. Yeah, Lynae Ciaccona is just like in my calcs, it's performing like stupidly well, and I tested out today as well. Like, it's a really powerful team.
Hmm.
Like, it's unironically one of the only teams that can bypass the current tower's shield and be completely unharmed by it because of how stupidly strong it is.
All right, to be fair, I'm getting clears against the current tower show with Camellya,
Oh no,
Donghua, Verena.
okay, Rhinne, I'm not saying clears. I'm
Okay.
saying it feels like she's not even affected. Like, she is still clearing like the way the top tiers do, despite the aggressive shield.
Oh, okay. I
Like,
see what
she's
you're saying.
doing
Yeah, yeah.
insane.
I have another hot take. Actually, I think you agree with this. I feel like Cartethyia is pretty lower on the pull value. I don't know if I want to put her in B or C.
I'd put her in B tier because I personally like. Okay, she doesn't have many she doesn't have many teammate options, and she takes her rover. But here's the thing: she's the perfect example of like, like when you're playing an RPG, right, and you're able to like make a specific build, like, and like, balance your stats. Like, let's say you're making an Elden Ring build, right?
Right?
Cartethyia is the character that just put literally all of her points into strength for tower, and she's making it work. Like, she is just like, even with Lynae, like, Cartethyia is still the best DPS in tower in my opinion. Like, assuming no quick swaps, and even with quick swap, she has a lot of quick swap abuse herself. And
Hmm.
honestly, like, her sheer performance in tower is enough for me to put her in B tier, to be honest.
Her performance is really good, but once again, we run into the same problem as what Zani had, where like you have one teammate, that's what you go with, and that drags down your pull value a lot. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have like that
I
tier of
mean,
performance. Like obviously she has like insanely high performance, right? Especially for like a casual player, she's gonna be the best performing DPS in the game, right? Like if you want to clear
mhm.
and you want to just like
I
throw
mean,
your wallet at it, you're throwing Cartethyia, you're throwing Ciaccona, you have both their signatures, you're going to tower, you're clearing for free, right?
okay. Actually, I wanna point this out.
Okay.
Arrow Rover Chisa is actually not that bad. Like, it is actually a pretty solid team. Like,
How does that compare to
you're no longer
Ciaccona?
as tied to Oh, it is, like, a fair bit worse, but it's still, like, competitive with, like, other characters. Like, it's not competitive with the tier 0 characters anymore, but it's still, like, a pretty good team. Like, I can't say she's locked to Ciaccona anymore outside of Whimpering Wastes, because Chisa Arrow Rover is pretty decent.
Would you is that all right? I haven't looked at calcs for Chisa. Is that like Carlotta tier in terms of damage? Like how high does it get
Yeah,
up?
it's like around Carlotta performance, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I did not know that. I don't think that changes my opinion on Cartethyia. No, I don't think it changes my opinion on Cartethyia. I think B tier is fine. I think looking at this list, I almost want to move Carlotta down a little bit, but we'll see. We can move more at the end. We're going to start getting more top heavy now, especially with characters like Phrolova. I think
Yeah,
Phrolova, S tier, I think probably the best pull value DPS in the game, being both a performer in
yeah.
tower and wuwa. She has a fuckload of characters she can go with. She can literally pair with like half the roster. This character is just stupid strong. She's been strong since release. I don't understand why people thought she wasn't strong at release. I think maybe people were like a little bit brain broken because they saw her signature was as strong as it was. And so they had like, they wanted to like dislike her a little bit. But I think Phrolova is just the best. If I'm going to tell someone to pull for a single DPS right now, I'd probably tell someone to pull for Phrolova if we're talking purely from value standpoint.
Okay, I just want to say right now, you kind of skipped over Lupa.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about. All right, whatever. We'll do Phrolova first. It's fine. We'll do Lupa next.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, I kind of agree with everything you said. Like, I will say, like, when she came out, she was less dominant in tower because tower was still focused more so on short fights. But when they added Fleur 4 in 2.6, that was just so good for Phlova's backloaded nature. So she just became tier 0 in tower as well. And, you know, obviously you also said, like, her teammate versatility is ridiculous. Like, realistically, in a perfect world, there's only 3 S tier characters, and their names are Shorekeeper, Phrolova, and you already know who the last one is. Like, in a perfect world, those are the only S tiers, if you ask me.
That's ooh. Actually, wait, hold on. I was debating if Iuno goes in S tier. Actually, I'm surprised you wouldn't. I was gonna put Iuno in S tier. I was gonna put her as the 4th S tier. But we'll talk about that when we get over there.
Yeah. Okay, now we can go to Lupa, though. And I mean, I think we both agree that Lupa's an A tier character, like, high A tier. Like, she has such a dominance over the Fusion metagame. Like, literally, Fusion is a solar system, and she is the sun, right? Like, she is the one that single-handedly makes a lot of Fusion DPSs as strong as they are. Like, Changli would not be where she is without Lupa. Brant would not be where he is without Lupa. Galbrena, I mean, she would be, but still, like, she gets a ton, like, she'd be a lot more reliant on Qiuyuan if it weren't for Lupa. Lupa just kind of dominates the entire Fusion metagame, and that single-handedly makes her, like, a top of A-tier character.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously she's chained to Fusion. That's her only downside. But she
I mean,
she even makes
we have
Encore.
Encore, like,
Yeah, exactly. Like she even makes Encore
yeah,
like a good character. So you can even have like free to play variants of Lupa that end up performing really well. So yeah, Lupa A tier, high A tier. Augusta. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna let you take Augusta. I'm not sure what I think of this character. I'm not sure if B or A.
I think Augusta's an A-tier character, because here's the thing. I think that, obviously, Phrolova's the most valuable DPS in the game, right? Like, just obviously.
Right.
And that's, like, primarily, not only because of her teammate versatility, but also because she gets strong performance out of both Tower and Whimpering Wastes. And this is something that I feel Augusta shares in more than most characters, because in her Iuno team, I think she's the second best wuwa DPS, like, when we're looking at her Iuno. And even without Iuno, even when you take Iuno out of the equation, she's one of the only modern DPSs who does incredibly well with a 4-star character being more Teffy.
Right.
So I think it's very fair to say Augusta's an A-tier character, because, like, she just has better overall performance than characters like Cartethyia, than Phoebe, than Carlotta. She just does better than them, while also not being, like, reliant on a 5-star support to do that. So I think putting her in A tier is more than justified.
Yeah, her baseline performance free to play being better than like any other free to play characters in the game. Yeah, I think A tier is good for her. And then
Yeah.
Iuno, obviously putting her up. I'm surprised. All right, hold on. I just want to get to Iuno then. I want to put her in S tier. Let me talk about the case for Iuno S tier. So you have the performance with Augusta being a top tier team, right? Then you have the performance with Lynae also being a top tier team, right? So she has 2 top tier teams right there, both functioning as a main DPS and a sub DPS, right? So if we're saying Augusta is like an A tier character, I don't see how Iuno can have like near that performance as a main DPS with a comp, and then also have that performance in a completely another comp as a sub DPS and not be S tier and stay within like that same tier as Augusta.
Okay. My reason for that is actually very simple, and it's because of it's literally just one factor, and it's the cost of her team. Because in her Lynae team, like, you need to pull for Lynae to get that top tier performance out of her, because if you're running the Ciaccona team, you're not getting tier 0 performance. And when it comes to Augusta, you still want to get the Augusta, right? And she can also be a support for other teams, like, she can be a support for Phoebe, she can be a support for Jiyan, but those are not the top tier teams. And again, those are all 5-star characters. So if you're pulling Iuno as your only 5-star character, I don't think she's getting as much value as Shorekeeper or Phrolova. I think it's incredibly hard to really compete with those two. And I think the S tier should be exclusive, like an exclusive club for like the near flawless units.
All right, hold on, let me think for a second
Does
on
that make
this.
sense? Like, if you were to give me the reins, like, Augusta wins out in low-cost options, Iuno wins out in just having more options.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think do I still think there's a good argument for her to be an S tier though, despite that. I think you're overstating how much value she or how much she needs Ciaccona in that comp. You can't just play her with like Lynae, Shorekeeper, Iuno, and have top tier performance for her DPS.
I did not. That's not what I said.
Is that not what you said? You said that
I never.
you said that the cost for her team is extremely high, right? You need to pull for like multiple other 5
Oh,
stars, but for the
no,
for
no, no. That's not what I. No, that's not what I didn't say the cost of her team is high. I said it was a cost issue, not that the cost of her team was high. Those are two different things.
okay,
Because if we like, here's the thing, right? Like, let's look at the other A tier characters, right? Like,
right?
okay. By the way, I want to say I think Augusta should be above Ciaccona at least. By the way, I want to say that.
Mm,
But the thing is, right? Like when you compare to Lupa and compare to Augusta, Augusta works better with a 4-star unit than Iuno does, and Lupa works better with a standard banner unit than Iuno does. Those lower cost options are something that are just less available to Iuno. I do think Iuno is top of A tier if we're putting her in A, but like I'm just saying, like, I think S should be reserved for like characters that are almost flawless.
all right, fine. I'll put her in A plus or like top of A. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I agree that like the free
See,
to play
guys, the
performance of these
agenda
two.
always wins.
But it's kind of interesting. What's hold on. Side note, what's Ciaccona's best like free to play option as a team?
Honestly, I don't.
They're all high
Yeah,
cost
let
teams,
me
right?
think.
Like I'm trying to think. It's like you pair with like you pair with like Cartethyia and stuff like that, right? Like there's no low cost team there. I think.
That is true. I'm contemplating putting her below Brant now. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
something that that's very true.
Hmm.
I mean, okay, to be fair, Brant doesn't have too many low cost options either. Like he has Encore, but Encore also has multiple other options.
I'm trying to think. If I were to start an account right now, which one of these would I be like pulling for? Would I pull for Iuno, Augusta, or Lupa? Who would be like the one I go for? It might actually be Lupa, unironically, to pair with the Encore.
Yeah, like Lupa Encore or Augusta Mortefi. Like from the A tier options, those are definitely like the things you'd look towards as a newer player. And then when you add the performance factor, Lupa in the Galbrena monofusion team, and then Iuno and Augusta, just like they all have high performing like low cost teams, high cost teams. I mean, and then Augusta and Lupa are better at the lower cost as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm thinking about it. Like I'm evaluating more from like if I were to make like a free to play like newer account right now, right? And I was thinking about what characters I want to pull right now
Mhm.
for like the maximum value. Yeah, I think. Do you agree that Lupa would be the top here out of all these characters in A right now? I think Lupa's the top.
I think it's like Lupa, I
Probably
mean, I
Augusta
think
second,
Lupa and
actually.
Augusta are very comparable. I think Lupa and Augusta are incredibly comparable, actually. I'm pretty sure Augusta Mortefi performs better than Encore Lupa.
I'm actually curious. Wait, hold on. I'm actually curious to see your calcs on that because I've seen stuff saying otherwise on
I
that
mean,
specifically.
yeah, I mean, my calcs prefer Augusta Mortefi here.
Yeah. Either way,
I mean,
they're
I
they're
think
both like
putting Lupa,
pro.
I think Lupa should still be higher because she's literally the defining factor behind an entire element success.
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
Like that's something you that's not something you just compete with, just dilly dally.
I think also upon thinking about it more, I think being lower here value because I do think the cost is something I should be considering, especially in like a pull value tier list. So like the fact that her teams are pretty expensive, I do agree with that. Outside of like I do think she performs like Shorekeeper and whatnot too. Like that's like a top tier performing team, like the Lynae
Oh yeah,
Shorekeeper
for
one.
sure, for
But
sure.
yeah, I think having her there is fine. All right, I think we've beaten a dead horse. See who came out first, Qiuyuan or Galbrena? It was Galbrena, right?
Yeah, Galbrena came out first. You want to take the reins here?
I took the reins for your turn, bro.
Okay, damn. I think Galbrena, she's like in my opinion, she's like a high B tier character. Because when you look at it, like, okay, I think something that I've been realizing more recently is when you compare her to Carlotta, right? In a lot of
Hmm.
senses, she's kind of just an upgraded Carlotta. Like, she has better team flexibility because of the monofusion team being stronger than anything Carlotta has that isn't Zhezhi or Lynae. And then
Right.
she also has the Lynae team, she has the Phrolova team, so she has just better team flexibility than Carlotta. In endgames, her situation is also very similar, where she is like a good bit better in tower and a good bit better in wuwa.
Hmm.
And then like they're both like similarly crippled at lower cost. So I think like putting her like at the lower end of A or the top end of B is pretty fair because I just feel she has a lot of similarities to Carlotta, but she's just better in those ways, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I feel like she's more versatile though, because she does have like a good amount of like Carlotta. Actually, wait, no, that's not true with like Lynae anymore. Actually, hold on, wait, no, that's not true with Lynae. Like Carlotta actually has a
I
almost
mean,
equal amount of
Galbrena
sub
can also okay.
DPSs.
I mean, Galbrena can also use Lynae. Remember that.
Yeah, that's true.
When I think of Galbrena teams, I think of Monofusion, I think of Qiuyuan, I think of Phrolova, and I think of Lynae. Those are the ones I think of when I think of Galbrena teams.
Yeah, and Carlotta she either has Cantarella, she has Gesture, she has Quick Swap, or she has Lynae. So
Oh
it's an
my
equal amount
god,
of teams.
bro! Don't say. Okay, did you
It,
really say Cantarella over Brant? Are you serious right now?
Or you could throw Brant in there too. It doesn't. Or you get the either way. Actually, if
Brant is
anything,
so much better than
that's more
Cantarella.
to my point anyway. Then that's even more teams actually. But yeah, no, I think Galbrena has like a weird amount of teammates as well, right? Like you can play Mono Fusion either with Changli or with Brant. Both of them end up working too. You just have to make sure you have the Lupa. With Qiuyuan, it also works as well. You mentioned Phrolova, that's a good team too. You can be like Phrolova, Qiuyuan, Galbrena, that could work as well.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I
Actually, I
haven't
think
looked into
low end
Lynae
of A
yet.
tier.
Yeah, I think A tier as well.
Honestly, that's been the main team I've been playing with my Galbrena because I mean I don't have Qiuyuan and I don't like playing Monofusion with her, so I've just been playing Lynae Galbrena and I've been having a blast.
I've been playing Galbrena,
Like
Lynae,
it's really
Lupa.
good.
Just for fun, bro. I don't even know if that's a good team,
Yeah,
but
like honestly, it is just a good team. I mean like Lupa's busted. Let's be real here. It's
true.
probably pretty good.
True. Yeah, I think A tier. I don't want to put like
Okay,
Galbrena
I
literally
want
does
to say
everything
okay.
Carlotta does, but better. I almost want to move down to some of these characters on the list, but
Okay.
we can do that later on.
Someone in chat said, "Bro, Galbrena needs to be in the same tier as Changli, literally same DPS." Okay, I want to know where is your source because I want to strangle them. Like that's just literally just actual misinformation right there.
It's called rage bait, bro. They lie for attention. Their waifu is getting slandered right now, all right? They see that another character they don't like is above a character they do like, and so they got to slander it.
But yeah, I think like bottom of A is pretty good for Galbrena. And what you said about wanting to move some characters down, I don't think that like I don't think we need more characters in D and F tier because wuwa really doesn't have that many characters that are worthless to pull for, in my opinion.
Oh no, I was gonna move like Carlotta to C. I feel like I don't want her in B. I don't know. We'll see though. I'm actually curious. What do you think of Qiuyuan?
Speaking of which, yeah, I personally want to put him in B tier because I wanted to say like let's add another character to the B tier because here's the thing, right? As we have discussed, he is more vital to Phrolova than Cantarella is, but still, you are being tied to one of the most versatile DPSs in the entire game. But unlike Cantarella, he actually has the ability to work with a different character, which is Galbrena. But I feel like Galbrena now, like, has enough options as well to not really need Qiuyuan. Like, she has them on a fusion team and the Lynae team, which are both pretty competitive with the Qiuyuan team. So ultimately, while Qiuyuan has best in slot use cases, it's not hard to replace him in those use cases. So I think it's pretty fair to put him, like, you know, at the higher end of, higher end to middling of B tier.
You know what's interesting? Everything you just said is a good argument to move Zhezhi lower, because, like, his good performing teams are all higher than Zhezhi's teams, right? But then on top of that, like there are other options there that also perform. You literally just like all the arguments you have for like putting Qiuyuan in B tier are like the same arguments I would use to put Zhezhi lower. But I agree with a lot of what you said or actually pretty much everything you said for Qiuyuan. He's almost similar to like Cantarella and Zhezhi in that sense, where like he can go with the other characters and he's good with those other characters, but those characters are he's better. But also, those characters are super versatile, right? Like, Phrolova and Galbrena are both versatile characters. They have other options. They don't need him. So he needs them more than they need him.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, like, he can't have that much pull value. Like, he's still a good character, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah. Qiuyuan's value is being carried by the fact that Phrolova and Galbrena are strong carries.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's another situation of, oh, but what if your Lynae is busy? Let's troll.
Dude, you're just... What even is the point of having this character at the end, by the way? If you're just going to have this character go to S tier, and you're just talking about it being S tier literally the whole time, by the way. What is the point of having this character at the end when you're just saying where it goes the whole time? Can you tell me that?
Bro, okay, Rhinne. That just makes it even funnier when we end up placing her in F tier.
All right, I actually, I haven't thought too much about Chisa. I almost want to put her in C or D. I feel like C. What are your thoughts on Chisa?
I think now it's the time we put Zhezhi down, like a pet. We put her down into the D tier, and we make way for her for Chisa.
Base. I like
Here's
that.
the thing: Chisa has one team, and the issue with that one team is that she's less than a 5% increase for that team.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you go all the way out pulling a signature for it as well. Wait, actually, I have a question because I have not looked into this.
Yeah.
how well does Chisa perform as a
Mhm.
main DPS? Like, what are like the actual values there? Is it just worse than every other DPS in the game?
Essentially, put the fries in the bag. Like,
That's
bro,
a
don't do
tragedy.
that. Like, if you want to troll, you can make it work, but don't expect actual results.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, if it's like even like viable or like remotely workable, that's actually interesting because I did play Chisa and I was able to get a clear with it, though it didn't feel the best. For main DPS
Okay,
specifically, but
when I'm talking about making a sub DPS, a main DPS, I'm looking at characters like Iuno and Brant, not fucking
yeah,
Chisa.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. That's what I wanted to know. Like, if it's nowhere near that performance, then that's not even a consideration. I'm
No, not bro. Brant. Okay, Iuno is comparable to tier 0 characters, and Brant is comparable to like tier 1 characters. Chisa is not even scratching like tier 2 probably.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. How is there even an argument for having her in C tier then if you just have Arrow Rover that performs for free then? The only argument is that you free up Rover to go on other teams? I feel like that's not a good
Yeah,
justification to pull for a
and
character.
Cartethyia, and it's not a justification to pull for a character.
So
But
shouldn't
then
she just go
again,
to
is there
D?
any sort of? I wouldn't say there's any real justification to pull for Cantarella either.
I mean, I'm comfortable
You want to
putting
knock
Cantarella in
Cantarella and
D.
Chisa both down in D tier?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
That's
sure,
what
we
I
can
said
do that.
earlier.
Sure, we can do that.
Dude, this is literally just like nah, dude. This is you're gonna get on-sided, bro. You just aggroed every single Chisa and every single Cantarella enjoy. You're actually gonna get us both killed.
Bro, I don't give a single shit. I will die a martyr for my truth, bro. Have you seen how many videos I've made on calling Yinlin and Xiangli Yao mediocre, bro?
We're gonna get killed,
I'm
bro.
used to the pain, dog.
We're gonna get.
I'm used to this pain.
All right, all right, all right, all right. You know what? We could be satisfied with this. There's no Zhezhi simp, so lowering that one doesn't do anything for us. You know what I mean?
Surreal. It's the you know, the character.
I think just
The
slightly
one
above
we've both
Yinlin.
been glazing.
Like they both pair with Xiangli Yao. You know what I mean? Like they both just go with Xiangli Yao. It's like
Mhm.
basically the same thing.
I mean,
Like just slightly
honestly,
better than Yinlin.
I mean, honestly, honestly, for my testing, she wasn't even that big of an upgrade over Yinlin. So like,
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she's that good of a character. Like, if I'm trying to play like an Augusta, I'd much rather play Yinlin. You know.
All right, stop rage baiting, bro. Tell me why Lynae is the best sub DPS in the game. Go.
Okay, basically, I only need one sentence for this. You have a DPS that doesn't have their best in slot teammate, use Lynae. It's
Hey.
that fucking simple. It's genuinely that simple. Like, it's not just that she's the at least top 3 for every single DPS in the game that isn't like Cartethyia or Zani. Like, it's not just that. It's also the fact that she's also best in slot for plenty of characters. Like, she is comparable to Zhezhi for Carlotta, if not just better. She is better than Roccia for Camellya. She's better than Yinlin for Xiangli Yao. She's better than basically anyone for Phoebe because Phoebe didn't have a good support before. Like, this character works with every, like, damn near every DPS. It's honestly just ridiculous how strong this unit is. And while I don't think she's Phrolova tier because Phrolova is like a different level of, like, I think Phrolova is stronger than Lynae, but like they're both stupidly broken, overpowered units.
Yeah. Wait. You think Phrolova's stronger than Lynae? Really? I was thinking Lynae was the second best full value character in the game. I'm surprised you put Phrolova higher than her. Wait, why?
Okay. Simple, because here's the thing, right? Lynae, like, as her role as a sub DPS, is still tied to having a DPS that has some sort of good damage output.
Right?
Like if you're starting a new account, realistically, the only things you're able to use her with is like maybe an Encore and a Havoc Rover. But like if you're like a newer player, you can use Encore Sanhua and Havoc Rover with Donjin. Meanwhile, Phlova is more malleable in the team she can use. But I don't think it's too far off between those two, though. Like, I think they're both really strong.
I agree. Phrolova is better off of like the bat, right? Because you can just use Donjin and Havoc over you. That's like a full team right there. You already have like a performing team that's gonna be able to clear the content, the game, and both those characters are basically free. Yeah, I guess Lynae. Lynae, what would be your package right off the bat? It would be Havoc Rover, Lynae, like Rhinne, I guess. Like, yeah, I guess that becomes kind of weird.
I mean, like, that's the thing with, like, I think Lynae becomes stronger the more characters you have on your account.
Yeah, I agree with
because
that.
if you want to play, like, if you want to play Galbrena and like, if you want to play Galbrena and Phlova at the same time, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to most likely put Lynae with your Galbrena and then use Qiuyuan with your Phrolova. Because the thing that Lynae does is she fills the holes in your account. Like, if you
Mhm.
have any holes, Lynae is gonna patch them right up. That's her value.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lynae is an amplifier for your account where, like, if you have, like, other good characters, Lynae will help with that, or even if you have bad characters, it helps with that, but you have to have other characters, whereas, like, Phrolova is a character in herself that performs well by herself and doesn't need, like, other things to add to that, though she obviously gets better if you get, like, her better options and whatnot. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
yeah,
it's
obviously. I mean, okay, grass is green.
yeah. No, but that matters for, like, it is, like, a pull value tier list, like, stuff like that matters for, like, if you're gonna pull for a character. Like, you're a brand new player pulling for it, Lynae's not gonna have as much impact
Okay,
as
okay,
if you're,
hold on.
like,
You know what
someone
someone in
else.
chat said? Guys, someone in chat said, "Guys, I think your reasoning for putting her in S is just not good enough." Brother, do you think she's good? Do you think she's the same tier as Brant? Do you think she's the same tier as Ciaccona, guys? Like, genuinely, I want to know. Do you think this character is in the same tier as Brant?
She goes with,
I
like,
don't
every
think she
team
is, just
comp in the
ever.
game, bro. Like, there's no justification to have her
Yeah,
anywhere but S. Like, she's just obviously an S tier character. Her performance is too high. She goes in every team in the game. She elevates too many characters. Why would you ever have her anywhere but S? That has to be rage bait.
yeah. Literally name any character, and Lynae is good with them. Like,
Oh, I guess
it's genuinely
one interesting thing is
genuinely
this:
stupid.
we are considering signatures for this list. Do keep that in mind. But yeah, if you're considering not signatures,
Mhm.
then Lynae has even more value there because like static mist right, and whatnot, right? Being insanely strong. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this list considers signatures. Do
I'm
not
using
forget
Static
that.
Mist on Lynae.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
using
I'm
static mist
using
on mine as
Static Mist
well.
on my Lynae. Yeah, because I want to save as many pulls as I can for the pink-haired Nanami with Selena's JPVA. Bro, genuinely target ban. Genuinely, it's a target ban.
Hold on, looking at this list, is there? I want like a minute. I want like a minute to think about this list. Let me think about like all the placements and stuff, and you do the same.
Honestly, I'd say only thing I can really think of as of now is like going through with putting Carlotta down. Like that's the only thing I could really think of right now.
I think that's actually the only change I want to make as well. I want to move Carlotta down, but outside of that, I think everything else
Yeah,
is chill.
I mean
I think
that's
she's better than the other characters in the tier,
yeah.
but
That's
I don't think she's as good as the B tier characters.
yeah. It's not something I would actively do myself, but it's like if someone else suggested it, it's be like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm fine with that. You can do that if you think that's fine. It's not something I'd
Just
fight
say
over, you
you
know.
want to rage bait, bro. All right, I'll add it to C. I've been advocating for it this whole time. All right, dude, we can put it in C. It is what it is. All right, just put it in C. Just say it. Just say it, bro. She goes in C tier. All right, it is what it is.
Hey bro, I can't destroy my reputation too hard yet, bro. All the Xiangli Yao fans are still mad at me.
You put him in C tier, bro. That's not even that bad. Do you see how many
Bro,
waifus are below him? This is 7 waifus below him, bro. That's pretty good, I think.